Julius Wanamaker was the largest in a long line of reservation basketball heroes, going all the way back to Aristotle Poltikin, who was shooting jump shots exactly 1 year before James Naismith supposedly invented basketball. This quote from Sherman Alexie's novel, The Lone Ranger and Tonto, Fist Fight in Heaven, shows how Native Americans have been playing basketball far before James Naismith invented the game. If Native Americans created the sport of basketball, then they deserve recognition and credit for the sport. Native Americans were playing basketball long before whites had even heard of the sport, and they also created lacrosse. My name is Marguerite Pankey, and I am here today to unearth the extent that Native American tribes have been recognized, or not recognized, for their contributions to two of America's most popular sports, lacrosse and basketball. Historically, basketball has been a major sport within Native American culture, and the sport began its rise to fame when a white man named James Naismith invented basketball. Native American tribes played basketball before 1891, and there are stories on reservations of Native ancestors playing the game of basketball. Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Pennsylvania, founded in 1879, about 2 decades before the invention of the sport, produced one of the first major Native American basketball teams in the country. Naismith did not invent basketball, and the credit for the sport should go to Native Americans. Here we can see a picture of the supposed inventor of basketball, James Naismith, and the Native Americans playing the game. It is documented that lacrosse has been played for centuries in Native American tribes. Historically, the Iroquois are the originators of the modern-day game of lacrosse. Native Americans are first recorded playing lacrosse in 1612 by William Strachey, and was initially played in the St. Lawrence Valley area by the Algonquian tribe. Lacrosse was soon played by Eastern Woodland Native Americans and by some Plain Indian tribes. Jesuit missionary John de Boeuf is the first to document the game of lacrosse in 1636. Boeuf's documentation of this game proves that natives did in fact create the sport of lacrosse and were playing it centuries before Europeans. Popularity in the northern regions grew when Kawagadins demonstrated the sport in Montreal. A local newspaper reported the game and, for the first time, white men became interested in the sport in 1834. White men were suddenly involved in the sport of lacrosse when in 1867, Dr. William George Beers, dubbed the father of modern lacrosse, finalized the first set of playing rules for the Montreal club. Native Americans have in fact received credit for their creation of the sport of lacrosse, as they rightfully should. Currently in the United States population, lacrosse is widely recognized as a sport created by Native Americans, and is rising to fame as it becomes one of America's most popular sports. Native American brothers Lyle and Miles Thompson are shedding more light on the cultural significance of lacrosse to the Native American society. Here you see the two brothers in their jerseys with the Six Nations symbol on the back. This symbol represents the Haudenosaunee, or people of the Longhouse, the Onondaga, Mohawk, Seneca, Cayuga, and Oneida. The historical Tewaaraton Award, the Mohawk name for lacrosse, is considered to be college lacrosse's equivalent for the Heisman Trophy. Never before had the award been given to a Native American or a duo. When Lyle and Miles Thompson both won the award, the Native American brothers made history by not only being a duo, but by being Native American as well.
Here we see the brothers holding the historic Tewaaraton Award, shortly after being awarded and making history for Native Americans across the United States.
As quoted by Zach Schronberg, we wanted to try and make a difference on our own. Lacrosse rises in popularity each day to become America's fastest growing sport. Basketball on Native American reservations is not an officially recognized sport. Basketball is such a huge deal, though, on the reservations that it has its own name, Resball. The slang term describes either the game itself or an up-tempo style of play. Resball is popular with Native Americans and they have their own league. To nurture young Resballers, the Native American Basketball Invitational, NABI, holds annual tournaments throughout the Southwest. Only 2 Native American women have successfully been drafted into the Women's National Basketball Association, Reida Benici and Angela Goodrich. Ranita Benshi is the first woman to be inducted into the American Indian Athletic Hall of Fame. Today, though, sisters Jude and Shoni Shamel are among about 24 self-identified American Indian athletes competing in Division I sports. They belong to the Confederate tribes of Umatilla and grew up on the Umatilla Reservation in the eastern part of Oregon. The sisters are proud of their home and themselves for making it out. Shoni said that it's almost sickening how much talent is on the reservation. Here we see the sisters with their relatives who are dressed in traditional Native garb, and here are the sisters discussing strategy during their game against Tennessee, whom Louisville later beat. Native Americans have been given credit for their creation of the sport of lacrosse, but have not been given credit for their creation of basketball. Native Americans deserve credit for their accomplishments and creation of the sport of basketball. While the sport of basketball is credited to James Naismith and the Native Americans get nothing, the website for the Federation of Lacrosse specifically states that lacrosse was started by the Native American Indians and was originally known as stickball. Native Americans are receiving credit for a sport with a massive historical evidence supporting them. The early Powhatan Indian version of one of the lasting and today thriving gifts of our Native American predecessors is the game of lacrosse. In Denise Waterman's article, Iroquois Nationals and Haudenosaunee Nationals, she states that the Iroquois are the originators of the modern-day game of lacrosse. Not only Americans, but also sports fans worldwide should recognize the accomplishments of Native Americans in sports, the natives' creation of the sport of basketball, lacrosse, and how many athletes on reservations are now breaking free of the reservation bonds and successfully being recruited to top colleges for sports that their ancestors played hundreds of years ago. The massed achievements of Indigenous people can easily be fixed by recognizing their achievements of creating such successful sports in which natives are getting off reservations, receiving a top education, and opening doors for other Native Americans on reservations everywhere. Thank you.